Baking with Emily and Friends. My name is Emily and my friend with me today is Beth. Beth is a wife and mother of 3 little children. I don't know why I hesitated that word. She's an avid baker. She does it mostly for stress relief. And I know this because I watched her doing it growing up because she's my older sister. So, number 1, you are my first sibling to do this with me, so congratulations.
Thanks.
Number 2, you are very comfortable with baking, and I think you're the first person also that I'm doing that with who is. So we're kind of experimenting.
I would say we're very much experimenting.
We're doing something. Yeah,
I've never done anything like this before.
Yeah, we're throwing a lot of stuff together. We're calling it a Christmas cake. You had it pinned on Pinterest, right?
Yes. Well, I think I saw a recipe for spinach cupcakes.
Okay.
That were green, and that gave us the idea to do this together.
Okay.
And then we decided to do a Christmas cake.
Right.
With red and green.
Right.
Together.
So the recipe that we're actually going from is found at withaspin.com, and it's called All Natural Red Velvet Cupcakes, except we're making a cake instead of cupcakes. And the original recipe that you had found for the spinach was spinach cupcakes from reneeskitchenadventures.com. So we're actually using the cake batter recipe from the red velvet one. Mm-hmm. So many different things have happened in the trying to get this together. For the beets, I picked up some yesterday. She's a mother, so I'm trying to keep her with me as little as possible so she can not leave her children for as long. So we were trying to do things as quickly and efficiently. Well, the beets, you're supposed to bake them.
Roast them, yeah.
Roast them, and then let them cool before you puree them, and then you fold them into the batter. Yeah. So I was going to try and be efficient and do that yesterday. Well, this is what happened. They are rubber, very dry.
I'm not even sure they would be edible.
Yeah.
As a snack.
So late last night, I messaged her and said, we have a problem. So our other sister, our oldest sister, was able to run in and get some more beets, thank goodness. And I had to work today, but she was able to get them prepped. So what did you do instead of?
So instead of roasting them in the oven, I decided to just boil them so that they wouldn't dry out at all. And whatever liquid was left after they were cooked, I just kept in there so that that extra color can stay with the...
So they might be a little more pink than red.
Hopefully it'll still have the saturated red color, but we'll see.
Hopefully, yeah. Yeah, this, as I said, experimentation. Simply because, right? Okay, so, and then our extracurricular thing, again, because I don't want to take her away for too long, another thing that she did a lot growing up is art. Mostly drawing, but also painting. And so our dad has commissioned her to do a painting for his workplace. So she has been, hopefully, setting up a camera and, yes, shooting herself, videoing herself doing this painting. So I'll just show that kind of in between segments so you can see that progress. So, on to the cake?
Yes.
You think you're ready for that? Okay.
Start the cake.
So, let's see. It says preheat oven to 375. I usually do baking stuff like this at 350.
Yeah.
And so we've decided to go ahead and do it at 350, especially
for a cake instead of cupcakes.
Right.
Because the original recipes were both for cupcakes.
True. Okay. So it says line or oil the pans. We're doing them in 8-inch pans. again, just, well, not again. We're doing them in 8-inch pans. Do you want to do parchment paper in the bottom?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's nice. That way we're not struggling to
Get them out.
get them out.
You can give me 2 out of that.
When the time comes.
Or is that just gonna be one?
Maybe.
If it doesn't go all the way to the edge, it's
That'll
probably
be
okay. Nice and handy there. Or however you
Well,
do whatever you think. You seem
I'm
very
just-
confident.
we usually do it like this. And
That works.
it doesn't matter to me so much that it's perfectly
Right, as long as it
filling
fits
out the
inside.
pan. Just as long as it fits inside and keeps it from sticking to the pan.
Alright.
So, do you have any
Do I have what? Spray? I do have spray.
spray that and then we'll put this inside? I don't know if this is how you do it at the bakery. This is
Yes, I spray the pan, I put the liner in, I spray it again, and we also put sugar. You want to put some sugar?
Sure. Powdered sugar
Or just, no, just granulated sugar. And that does help it come out a little bit better, too. And then you just have that extra sugar on the side. So just put some in,
shake it around.
yeah, and then shake it so that it's on the edges, too. Just gives that extra precaution of coming out better in the end.
Interesting. Sufficient, huh?
What?
It's probably sufficient.
Probably, yes. Okay. So those are prepared. Set those aside. Is it weird that we keep switching sides? No, I'm fine with it.
Doesn't
Okay.
matter.
So now we're going to start with the dry ingredients, combining the flour, baking powder, and salt. So we need, okay, did we also mention we're 1.5ing this recipe.
As per my suggestion.
As for her suggestion. So yeah, it's all kind of uncertain. But we're doing it. But we're 1.5ing it. So the original recipe is, so check my math too, because I just did it late last night. 2 cups of flour, so right there, yeah.
Oh, I
So the original recipe is 2 cups of flour, so we need 3 cups of flour. I don't know if this is going to be enough, but I had cake flour.
Oh,
If
that would work.
as a substitute.
So now I'm lazy when I scoop flour and just go like this. But do you have something?
I mean, do you just shake it, or do you?
I don't shake it because I don't want to get too much extra.
Okay. See, I'm really
Scrambling
bad. I scoop and I shake it to level out.
I mean, I usually don't level it with something, but
Well, and I'm usually making something like bread and doing that, and not.
but
Is it
now
gonna
I'm
be
gonna
close?
dump it in, which is gonna.
Be different.
But I guess there's.
Hey, nice, perfect. Perfect amount.
Okay.
All right, and then
So we need.
a tablespoon of baking powder, because we had 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and 3 teaspoons equals a tablespoon. So we're gonna do that. And then the original was 1 teaspoon of salt, so we're doing 1.5 teaspoons of salt.
Okay. This is your salt.
Yep. It smells funny. Do you think it smells funny? Like, is that how salt smells, or?
I don't think salt smells like anything, but it does smell.
I don't know if it's just a jar or what it
Kind of
is.
funny. So what did you say? 1.5 teaspoons.
Yes. So you did a tablespoon of the baking powder, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sorry.
I'm also
So,
lazy in that.
yeah, that's the other thing. They're all here. All 1 teaspoon. Then you just switch to the ½ teaspoon. She's, you're not about the, like, exactness of measurements, are you?
No, not
Precision.
really.
But it all tastes great.
So I
anyway,
guess you don't tune into this channel if you want, like, really precise cooking and baking
Instructions.
instructions.
Yeah, because I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, so that was the salt. So that's all the dry ingredients.
Do you have a
whisk. My big whisk is dirty, so we're going to use this whisk.
Alright. Just as well. Okay.
So now we got to start with the wet ingredients. So go ahead and set this one over there. And this is about how baking was growing up. I would watch while she did everything.
Because I have a tendency to take over.
Which I also do too, but I'm better at stepping back, I think.
Okay.
But no, you're doing good.
Sorry.
No, I don't mind.
Okay.
Alright, so it was originally 1 cup of oil, so we need 1.5 cups of oil, and I'm just using canola oil because it smells better than my vegetable oil.
So 1.5, you said?
Yeah, 1.5.
That's a lot of oil.
Which seems like a lot of oil, but this recipe doesn't have any butter. Which, do you think red velvet cakes, do they usually not have butter? Or is that
I don't know.
not a thing?
I've only made red velvet actually, I think one time.
Okay.
Cupcakes.
Stuff in the sink. So that was the oil. This is oil and sugar. Sorry, yeah, cream the oil and sugar. That's the instruction. So she has brown sugar and regular sugar. So 3/4 cup of brown sugar, and I did get a 1/2 cup and a 1/4 cup. Or you did do 3/4 cups. I don't know, however
I would use, but
what feels more efficient to you. But we needed a 1/2 cup of regular sugar. I don't know.
do it however you want.
And then
Okay. And then we need 1.5 cups of
sugar.
granulated.
And I do have more of that too.
Okay.
Because I wasn't thinking of it. Yeah, let's get more of that. Off camera. You're fine.
It's interesting that it says to cream the oil and sugars, because with oil you're not really going to get it creamed as you would with butter.
Yeah. At this point, yeah, it's mostly just getting the sugar, like,
incorporating them together.
Yeah. Especially the brown sugar, you want to actually get it so it's not as clumped together anymore. In my mind, I guess.
And you could use the whisk attachment on your mixer. And
Yeah, I was debating, did we want to actually do this with the mixer or did we just want to do it by hand? But I figured it was simple enough.
See how this, yeah.
And since it is oil instead of butter. If it was butter, I definitely would have said, let's use the mixer.
Yeah.
But since it's just oil, I figured it's fine.
Probably whipping it with the mixer would maybe make it a little fluffier.
Speak up.
Would maybe make it a little fluffier.
Yeah, but which isn't necessary.
No, that's okay.
Yeah. So then, yeah, it was 3 eggs, so we're doing 5 eggs.
Smaller
eggs.
Yeah,
they are a little bit smaller eggs. And I feel like Elizabeth has said, like, it's better to go a little bit more than it is to go less on eggs.
That's probably true.
Yeah. So we're doing 5 eggs. And it does say add eggs 1 at a time. Now, what's your theory on that?
Sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. But maybe you could be whisking while I add the eggs.
Okay, let's do that. See, the only thing that I've heard about, like, doing that with eggs and whether or not they should be room temperature is if you're using butter and they're gonna start making the butter cold again. That's the only thing that I've ever heard of why
I have heard that it helps the eggs incorporate better because, well, when they're cold, like as far as room temperature.
Yeah.
When they're cold, they don't. It's harder for them to mix in.
Okay.
Everything, but as far as doing it 1 at a time, I'm not sure why.
Too particular.
Maybe it helps it whip up lighter. I don't know.
That could be. You probably spend more time stirring if you only do 1 at a time.
It gets mixed more.
Probably should have had the bigger whisk for this, but I used it for pancakes and it's not clean enough. Okay, so that is, add vanilla.
And do you know what I do with vanilla?
Oh, she just does it by the dashes. Okay, so we technically need 2¼ teaspoons of vanilla.
Which is like a tablespoon.
And it's about that much.
Which is... I probably end up putting more vanilla than it would call for.
But vanilla is...
But vanilla is so flavorful.
Yes.
Just...
What did you always said vanilla?
Oh, it marries all the flavors together.
Yes. That is the one thing that I really, really, really remember from what she, when we were younger. Vanilla, it marries all the flavors together. Because vanilla does not taste great by itself.
Tastes like
to me.
Alcohol, but...
Because it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so then slowly add the flour to the wet and mix together. I'll probably actually use the
spoon.
rose scraper now.
Which one do you want?
It doesn't matter.
This one looks nice.
Yeah, it's new.
Where did you get it?
Walmart.
Okay. Okay. Slowly.
I did.
There you go.
Yeah, I think that was the intent of the slowly add them together. No, so, yeah, this is what I usually do too, is just dump it all on top and then mix it in.
Unless you're using a stand mixer where you can add a little more gradually.
But even then, I don't do it because I feel like I just end up making more of a mess.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
I can't decide if it's lazier to do it my way or if I don't know. I have very different methods than the people that I work with when it comes to this sort of thing. So we're just...
As long as it turns out.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter.
either way it does turn out for the most part. I feel like I lose fewer ingredients.
Okay.
Is my thing. Okay, so we're trying to not over mix it, right?
Right.
This is very brown, I'm noticing.
Hopefully it will
Become
red
pink.
and
Green. Pink. We don't want it to be
We
pink.
don't
We
want
want
it
it to be red. Okay.
Okay.
Does that look good?
That looks good.
Milk. So if you want to get that out of the refrigerator, we need 3 tablespoons of milk.
Okay.
This feels weird to do it with you.
It does feel weird. We're gonna make it work.
2, 3.
Okay.
Swell.
You know, I don't know that we've actually really baked together ever before in our life.
I remember 1 or 2 times. Mostly what I remember is you would bake and I would clean up after you. I would put away ingredients for you and...
While I was doing it?
Yeah.
Huh.
That's what I remember doing the most. But I was also just off in another room and then came back to enjoy the rewards.
Which was most of the time brownies.
Yeah. Yes, I think I remember 1 month where we had brownies like every day.
It was probably a stressful time.
Okay, so this is our cake batter as it is. You can, keep mixing as much as you better. So now the instructions are to fold in the beets, the puree.
Mm-hmm.
So cut to us actually pureeing the stuff. I don't know.
Okay.
Okay, so let's start with the spinach because beets stain and are very hard to get off
Yes.
of things. So
We don't want to make our cake brown.
Right.
Okay, and it calls for 3 cups of spinach with 1 cup of...
The original recipe said applesauce. We didn't have applesauce, but we had our mom, that was mom, right? And some pear sauce. And then you were also saying that if you wanted to, you could also use bananas.
Yeah, I was just thinking that would probably cover up the taste of spinach too.
And just work as a...
And just be a, yeah. It would
to
just
make it juicy, I guess.
add moisture. It just tastes like banana cake.
Okay. I'm really smelling the beets standing here. Do you like beets?
I do.
Okay.
I didn't used to, but
Right.
I do now.
Your palate has changed as we've gotten older.
Yes.
As has mine. But I was the one who ate beets when we were younger. It was just me and Mom.
Eating the pickled beets.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't so much care for pickled beets. But I do now.
Alright, so 1 cup of apple sauce / pear sauce.
/ banana puree.
Whatever you're gonna end up putting in there.
And I don't know how much puree this is going to make, but for the cake we should only need
Did we say 3/4
3/4
cup?
cup.
Since we're 1.5ing it and then we're dividing it in half, it seemed like it made the same amount of well, no, the one didn't say how many it made. But it seemed like it would make the same amount of cupcakes because they were both cupcake recipes.
Yeah.
We're just kind of, we're ad-libbing. Alright.
Thing. So.
We're just aiming on high. There you go. And they just say you want to get it as smooth as possible.
Yes, and you would want to get it as smooth as possible so that you don't have pieces of spinach.
So you don't have pieces of spinach, and then it also said the smoother it is for the beets especially, the brighter the color would end up being.
Okay. We'll do it just a little bit longer. It's getting there.
I feel like we're still going to see like the flecks.
Which is okay
Yeah.
to see little flecks of it. But it's looking...
It looks
it's
really
looking-
creamy.
Yeah, nice and creamy and
I
smooth.
feel like we're not
so-
going to get any better than that.
Okay.
So, we need to divide this in half. And then we'll put that in. So, I was going to use that bowl.
Okay.
We'll use the bowl, bowl with some green on it to do the spinach. I mean, we'll know which one is which anyway. I feel like it's appropriate.
Okay, so we're using 3/4 cup.
Yes. Do we want to just eyeball
Yeah.
this? Do you want to just dump that in there and then we'll eyeball?
Well, I'll measure it out.
That. Oh.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
So you can save the rest of that for your
Feed it to a baby.
smoothie in the morning. Are you a
Except,
spinach in your smoothie kind of gal?
I would, but you guys are using my
That's
water.
right.
Okay, so we have our spinach in this one. Do we want to divide these out now?
Yeah.
Okay.
What?
I don't know how much.
Just
You do it with confidence.
don't let go of the bowl. Okay.
Alright, and then
It's probably about half.
we're going to use separate rubber scrapers for each kind so that we don't mix up colors at all, hopefully.
Hopefully this will be enough.
Yeah, we might be working with some pastel colors. Or do you want to put the rest of it in? I mean,
Let's try it since this is all experimental anyway.
okay.
I just don't
Oh yeah. Take out the leaf.
leave in there because that's not very green.
Right. I mean, the recipe that we saw, it did look fairly light.
Yeah. And that was with a box.
It was with the box recipe, yeah.
Okay. That will be a little bit better, I think.
Yeah, that actually does. Yeah, it'll help.
It'll be interesting to see when it bakes what it does to the color.
Me too.
Okay?
Okay, so we can set this one aside. And now we're going to do the beets. So the beets you do with, it's 1 large beet. Huh, I should have explained all that. While you're doing that, I'm going to explain the process that I went through with my beets that the recipe explains. It says to wash and chop the beets, place in a large, place in a large baking tray and wrap with parchment paper or aluminum foil, which I just lined the tray with aluminum foil, and then roast until soft, approximately 1 hour. Which I pulled mine out 7 minutes early, and that's what they look like, so take that how you will. And then cool, add lemon juice and puree in a blender. So cut back to now, we have our boiled beets, and we're going to use the lemon juice. The recipe also says that you can use vinegar if you'd like, but lemon juice is what I had on hand. It also says freshly squeezed, but
this is what we're going with.
yeah.
Did we say to do 1 tablespoon or 2? I'll do a
do
little
more.
extra.
I think the acidity,
Mm-hmm.
is that the right word? Acidity?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Of the lemon juice is what's supposed to help it retain its color,
Okay.
its redness,
Okay.
because it keeps it from growing brown. So we're going to go with that.
Okay. Here we go. Are you ready?
I'm sure.
This might take a little bit of doing. I smell the lemon more than the beets.
It's probably good. I don't know, I smelled quite a bit of beets there. It smelled really good when it was baking last night. It was making me very hungry. But it smelled like hamburger or something. I don't know if it was like something that I had spilled in my oven or if it was actually the beets. It says silky smooth, so yeah, you're gonna have to really.
And I don't know if adding a little bit of.
Do we want to do some of the pear sauce?
I think that might actually help it
Okay, well we have some extra.
become smooth.
Let's just dump it in.
I'll just do a little bit. Okay. Let's see.
Oh, that's better.
Yes, we are getting smooth. Maybe do one more go of it. What do you think?
I mean, I feel like that's about as smooth as it's gonna get.
I think so.
I don't see any more real chunks.
Okay.
Silky might not be the word I'd use, but smooth.
Silky enough.
I would put it all in. If we put all the spinach in.
That's what I'm just trying to add out.
Start back it. That's gonna be.
This is going to be a really beautiful red color.
She said like she hadn't said that before.
I'm impressed.
Yeah,
With
as
the
long as
color.
it keeps its color, this is a very. The recipe that we got it from said to use this instead of like as a natural red dye instead of putting in food
Which is
color.
kind of the idea of both of these.
Yeah, it's
that
just
it's
very
just
natural.
a natural way of coloring it instead of using.
Which I personally don't care too much about that, but it's fun
Yeah.
and it's different. Something I've never cooked with beets before, baked with beets before.
Gonna overflow.
Is it gonna overflow?
Do some cupcakes too.
Huh?
We could do some cupcakes too.
We could. I feel like we talked about that originally.
Whose idea was it to 1.5 the recipe?
Yeah, I don't know.
No, it's my idea.
It was her idea. It's all her fault.
I'm taking full blame. I just don't want to.
Well, it's also, you're also not used to 8-inch pans.
Yeah.
If they were 9-inch, it'd be a little bit closer.
I don't want to overfill our pans and have an overflow
They look cool though.
problem. It looks really cool.
Should we try to like marble them? Or do you think that would go bad?
I mean, we could try one.
It's experimental, Beth.
We could try it. So can we get a couple of spoons or scoops? Here, you do.
I don't know. Since it's an oil-based recipe, I don't know how it's gonna work. Do one more scoop.
Good.
Okay.
What do you do do you do marble cakes at the bakery at all?
Elizabeth has found that if she marbles a cake, it has to both be butter-based recipes. Otherwise, they don't really. The oil recipe is too liquidy.
Yeah. Which this batter is quite liquidy, but.
Yeah. Are we all doing them all?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just for giggles.
For kicks and giggles. Simply because.
Yes. See how it goes.
You want to keep
If
going?
these turn out, these are going to be pretty cool.
Okay, so these are, right now they look beautiful.
They look so nice.
And we got a nice marbling action here on our little loaf cakes. She needs to get back to her kiddos, so I'm going to go ahead and bake these by myself. For the cupcakes it said bake 20 minutes. I'll start with 20 minutes. That's probably when these will be done, I would imagine.
I think so, somewhere around there.
I'll check them around 20 minutes and then see how long they actually take.
Yeah.
But I'll check them periodically. And then we'll come back tomorrow. We're going to do some special frosting and sprinkles and decorating and whatnot. And an extra fancy way of doing, it's all experimental. An extra experimental way of doing the cake. So yeah, we'll come back tomorrow. Again, try and keep it as short as possible. But yeah, cut to her painting. Okay.
You paint, and I'll see. Good job painting. I'm painting the side first. Then you paint the tractor. Let's put me on it, Whitey. Caleb.
I'm not sure
You can try to.
I can try.
To wash it off. I'll try to wash it off. She's going to wash it off.
I'll wash it.
Turned off.
It's okay. It's still going. I'll wash the paintbrushes when I'm done. Okay.
There.
day 2 of, well, we're not technically baking anymore, are we? But day 2 of Christmas cake. The cakes came out great. Even like the marbled ones. It's not necessarily like Christmas colors, but they're very pretty colors. So either way, it works. I would say. These came out at 20 minutes, and then the cakes went for, what did I say, 35 minutes?
Yeah.
So not too much longer, and
They look great.
they look pretty good. I would say so too. So first we're gonna make the cream cheese frosting. So so cream cheese frosting. Take 3. So it's 8 ounces of cream cheese, a 1/4 cup of butter, so half a stick of butter, 3 cups of powdered sugar, a teaspoon of vanilla, and then just salt it to taste. So start with the cream cheese, which I've been letting sit out.
And it feels nice and soft.
All day, yeah. Pull it out this morning. And then you whip that all up nice and good.
So you whip the cream cheese first.
Just by itself, yeah. I mean, if
Make
they're
sure-
both fairly soft, it doesn't matter as much.
You just wouldn't want to have any lumps
Right.
of cream cheese left. Yeah.
So, go ahead and get that started. And we'll scrape the sides at least once here, because it does tend to, I don't know, as good as your mixer is, you still gotta scrape the sides.
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't.
It just doesn't get it. So I'll do it one more time.
So now we've added the butter.
And yeah, this you want to be softened too. You don't want it melted, obviously.
I think that looks good. And then just, then we'll add the sugar. Is that right?
Yeah. Sometimes I'll add the salt at this point just so it gets better incorporated.
Yeah.
And that's really just a pinch. Whatever a pinch means
Just
to you.
what I've heard about adding salt to frosting is that it kind of cuts down the sweet a little bit.
Right.
So just a pinch helps to balance out the sweet. It's not that you're necessarily tasting saltiness.
Right. So 3 cups of powdered sugar. Take this out.
Okay. Okay.
I'll try not to make a dust bomb.
Do we add vanilla at this point?
Yeah.
Tablespoon.
Oh, yeah. It was a teaspoon.
Teaspoon.
It was a teaspoon. Oh well.
I don't think I added a tablespoon anyway.
Okay. And some of the powder sugar got kicked up, so I'm gonna just scrape that down so that goes back in.
It's looking really nice and silky smooth.
Okay, go ahead. It's great to me. Alright. And we're covering the whole cake, plus hopefully a little bit of our other cake, so you want to scrape off all of that off of the... That's the worst part about using a whisk attachments. It's really hard to get it all off, but...
Look at as much as we can.
So you have a little bit of a dome on the cake, so we're going to even that out, flatten it a little bit so that it's...
So that it stacks
Yeah,
flat.
yeah, so that it balances one on top of the other. So
Right.
you have a better eye for that sort of thing than I do, so go for it.
Okay. And you chilled these overnight. Did you say
Yes.
that? You chilled
Yeah,
them?
so I let them sit in the pan for like 5 to 10 minutes, and then they sat out on a cooling rack for a couple of hours, and then, whoops. And then I wrapped them up and put them just in the refrigerator for overnight. And most of the day. Right? Oh, that's a pretty good green. Right, and this is
It's gonna be
what we call at work garbage cake. Still edible, but it's not part of the
you
cake.
could make some nice cake
balls.
pops.
Yeah, with those cake pops, it's great. We didn't get it quite all of the beets mixed in the best. There's a couple of spots where there's lines. There's a couple of spots where there's some beet chunks. So you'd have to maybe work with it just a little bit more to make sure that you're gonna have like.
If you wanted it to be perfect.
Exactly. I'm not saying that it's wrong here, but like if you want it like consistently, completely colored, the same color.
And ideally, you would want to stir it up so that it's all mixed up. So.
Right. Yeah. But
the green on the inside is actually more vibrant than what you see on the outside. So together, it makes a nice Christmas combination.
I keep wanting to call this more purple than red, but it is still red.
It is very red. Yes.
So we're gonna do a technique. I don't know if it has a name. It's gonna make a
checkerboard.
It's gonna make a checkerboard pattern. You got these cookie cutters just at Hobby Lobby, and we have this. This is why we chose the 8-inch cakes, was because we figured this fit pretty well inside the 8-inch rather than a 9-inch. I'm gonna bring the camera up closer while you cut them,
Okay.
so that we see that a little bit better. Do you want to keep doing it? You were doing good.
Okay.
I'm happy with that.
There's plenty of frosting left for the top.
Yeah, I don't know what we'll do with these. Put a little bit of
Well,
frosting on them and give them to
we'll
Caleb
see.
and Grace.
We'll see. Do you do a lot of naked cakes with bakery?
A lot of wedding cakes are naked cakes, yeah.
Really?
Naked cakes with different, like, sugared berries is really popular. But Elizabeth likes those because they are easier.
Yeah.
You don't have to get, like, completely smooth on the outside.
Yeah. And you probably use less frosting.
Yeah. But yeah, naked cake means less frosting, and I like frosting, so.
Yeah. We want to lather it on as thick as we can.
Yeah. You were saying that it is a little bit uneven. So for our purposes, it really doesn't matter right now whether or not it's even.
Right.
But that is something that you'd want to look at when you put on that top layer. Turn around, see if it's even. If it's a little bit uneven, you can put a little bit more frosting on the one side to help build that side up.
Right.
But we didn't care, so we're not bothering.
You can also, if you're frosting on the stand or plate that you're going to use, put a ring of parchment paper or wax paper around to protect, because I'm getting some smears of frosting on the plate, which is...
You can also clean that up with a little bit of paper towel too.
Presentation purposes.
We probably will.
Very nice, but...
Presentation to the family.
Yeah.
At this point. Are we happy? There's a little bit left over for the other little loaves.
A little extra to the top here.
And again, she wants to get back home to her kids, so we're not going to fuss over this too much.
Try not to fuss over too much. Okay.
Okay, so you suggested, because we're just going to do, we have some Christmas sprinkles here. You suggested that we just use the cooking ring that we had used before, and we're going to do some sprinkles on the outside. So you were saying, what have you heard about checkerboard?
Well, I was just saying that sometimes, especially with something like this where it has different pieces put together, so like a checkerboard cake, chilling the cake after you frost it,
but before you cut it.
Before you cut it is helpful for then having really clean cuts, if that's important to you.
Right, for presentation purposes and stuff.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, but otherwise, we're very happy with how it turned out.
Yeah. Yeah, then that's, she didn't cut quite to the center to get that last
I didn't get quite into the middle.
But you still got...
But it's still checkerboard.
Yeah, definitely looks good. Alright, so we cheated and had a little bit of garbage cake earlier of the beet cake. So we know it tastes good on its own.
But we don't know about the spinach either. So.
We do not know about the spinach, and we don't know about it with the frosting. So
here we go.
So you gotta get both kinds.
Yeah.
In a bite.
Lots of frosting.
I think it. Cheers. Is that a face of disgust?
No! I just think it's so funny because let's be off camera in the cooking shows, you know, they always have like the same exact.
Oh.
Reaction. Like, oh, that's
gotta think about it while
No, okay. But I think it's delicious. And
yeah.
I think the cream cheese frosting is a good choice because then, you know, it just tastes like a white cake, basically, with the cream cheese frosting.
Just vanilla cake.
Yeah, but it doesn't have an overwhelming taste of anything other than just white cake with cream cheese frosting.
Get the spinach just by itself.
See, I don't taste.
There might, I mean, if you're
Spinach
really
or
sensitive
beets.
to that sort of thing and don't like beets or spinach at all, you might notice it, but even still,
I think it tastes really good.
yeah, I think it's a
I would
good recipe.
highly recommend if you want a naturally colored green or red cake to use spinach
Yeah,
or beets.
yeah, definitely. All right,
Really well.
success. Okay, and is your painting done?
No.
Well, when she gets the painting done as her extracurricular activity, we will see how that turns out.
Yeah.
But success, good job. All right, so thank you for watching. If you have any more tips, tricks, or suggestions, let me know. And I will see you in the next video. And until then, keep on baking simply because.